As long as we stay on topic, this should be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we should... Camille, please.
You cannot see the pointing finger, but the judging finger of Camille has pointed.
The finger of scorn. It is 10:54, and this is Camille's Harem.
Yes.
Yes. I think we should really talk about how this all started.
Yeah.
Because that's... It was... Who would like to start?
Oh, I was just gonna go. Storyboard time. Come on, grab your friends.
Go to very distant lands
With Lars, Camille, Nathan, and Jed. The fun never ends.
It's storyboard time.
Camille
Harem time.
Yeah.
All right.
So the beginnings of Storyboard, lies in actually right around this time last year.
Yeah.
I was messing around with the idea of doing something with swapping stories. Tried it out earlier with a couple of other people, and it didn't go anywhere. It failed. It failed epically. And I told Camille, and I can't remember what it was, but you said that we had to wait until later. That's one thing I specifically remember. You're like, I can't do it right now. We do it later.
I don't remember that, but okay.
Now that's what I remember.
Well, I just remember that Camille and I were working on our comic book, and we were talking about stuff. And she's like, "Are you writing another story?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then she's like, "Well, I'm putting together a group." And at first we were like
Nick Fury.
Who can be in this group? And we were recruiting like crazy. And then we got our group, and now we're relatively exclusive.
Relatively.
I think
Relatively is a relative term.
Here's the thing. Like, we invite people on in, but I think by now, like, people just, like, we've become our own entity of inside jokes and absolutely everything, and so other people feel intimidated to show up.
Yeah, I agree.
Or they're like Aaron and they're only here for food.
Yeah, you have to watch or be familiar with Gravity Falls,
Adventure Time.
all
Over the Garden Wall.
The collective works of Brandon Sanderson and
Avatar Last Airbender.
Avatar Last Airbender.
To even understand.
Olin Rogers.
Olin Rogers. Yeah.
Yes. But anyway, getting off topic. Lars,
Yes.
go back to your
So at one point in time, at the beginning of last summer, we all got together.
Yeah, it was June because you had come down to Prescott. This is how I heard about this because I live an hour and a half away.
Dedication.
And I drive every single week. But
You the real MVP.
I'm the real MVP. That's right. That's right.
Well, you can't say that you are. You just revoke your title. Anyway. Other people can say you're the MVP. You can't say that you're the MVP.
You say thank you to my team and all the hard work and the coaching staff and the training staff
Anything
and
is
the guy who
possible.
cleans the floors.
Anything is possible. Anyway, sorry.
Anyway, so Camille had come down. It was June-ish, and we were hiking Thumb Butte.
That's right.
Yeah, and she was telling me about this story or this dream that she had that she really wants to make into a story, and it was about dragons and yada yada yada. And I was like, no way. I had a dream like 3 nights ago that I really want to make into a story, and it was also about dragons. So she's like, what? No way. We're like making this writing group. You should come up and Flagstaff. I'm like, do I really want to drive all that way? It's like, you know what? Let's try it once, see how it goes. And that's kind of how I got dragged into it.
Yeah.
But, I mean, what it has done was... I'll talk about that later, actually.
Yeah. I was just going to say, the whole, like, summer thing. Did it start between us, or did it start between me and Jed?
I feel like it was all three of us.
It was the three of us. I gave you the idea. You actually took the idea and ran with it because I did not expect this to go anywhere. I'd already tried this once before up here in Flagstaff, once down in Tucson. Both times were epic fails. And I had my whole outline for my story that I'm writing. But I was just like, this, like everything else I've ever said I was going to write, is just going to get cataloged somewhere in my brain and never go anywhere. I'm going to do this once. because I think it could be awesome, and it won't go anywhere after that. We all, you, me, and Jed, and so the three of us, Camille, Jed, and Lars, all met here at the Institute and shared ideas. And I remember I was getting up and leaving. I was just like, okay, then, well, that's awesome. Maybe we can do this again sometime. And then Camille's like, no, write something. All of us will write like 2 pages and we'll come back. And then that just started snowballing. She invited you, Nathan, and then you came on up, and then we just all started going. And that was when you first came up, you were doing a lot of stuff with comics.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and it just kind of went from there.
Yes.
Yay!
And at one point, we had ice cream sandwiches that we'd slap people with.
I still have that video somewhere. It's golden.
Lars is the powerhouse as far as writing goes. Camille is
the motivation.
A close second. Nate is
the glue that sticks us all together.
Something like that. And I'm the support staff.
You're there for moral support.
And we've had other honorable mentions come and go. I mean, tonight he left early, but we had my roommate Ethan Hansen. He was around. Shelby pops in every now and then. She should actually start coming a little more often, starting next week.
Yeah, yay! Done.
And then there was Garrett for a little while. And was there anyone else?
My little sister Marcy.
Yeah,
Marcy.
I thought it was your sister, but I wasn't sure. I was like,
after all this time.
I know. I was like,
looks like
I grew out my hair. Now it's curly.
I figured I kind of implied it to myself, but I wasn't 100% sure, so I wasn't gonna like.
Jed, who is that younger looking version of you?
We have invited people like Marcus.
Yeah.
And others to come on in.
And like Kylie and Sonia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, and, well, I think for our
purposes with this?
Well, I guess, like, you know, what we are working on currently is good to let the snowball know. Hi, Snowball.
Hi, Snowball. And this snowball's the real MVP.
He is.
Without the snowball, we wouldn't have any of these recordings. And to actually kind of jump to the meat of why we were even saying this, why we are recounting our history.
Because there is a point.
Because there is a point. It's almost a year. It's been almost a year since we've officially really been going. Something that started off as an inside joke, as Camille's Harem is now becoming the name of our podcast. Storyboard, which was a name that I just threw out there because I thought it sounded cool. Well, is now the actual name of what we do, and people all throughout the Institute know.
Yep.
And if anything, it's this legacy that we have built up for ourselves. What?
We're mentally insane.
Institute, it's like the Institute for the Mentally Insane.
No, we are all Mormons. We are all the Mormon Institute.
Same div.
Pretty much.
We're all insane. But essentially, how this has been going is we've been able to motivate one another in various ways to continue writing, whether it be we slap you in the face with an ice cream sandwich, or it's like, or
how did that
I've got
feel,
something,
Jay?
I got something I really want to share with you. We've been swapping all these different kinds of ideas. When someone is not feeling the mojo to write, then the others give him or her encouragement to continue on and to at least show up the next week to keep on going. And so just because of this great encouragement and sometimes incentives or force, like all of us except for Jed over there.
Everyone looked at Jed collectively.
Hey, I wrote a short story too.
Yes, he did write a short. He did write a short story, so we have to applaud him for that. So everyone has written some stuff, some more than others, but
some way more than others.
but
26 chapters.
Yes.
500 pages later.
But the thing is that what we have learned by doing this is that you really need to have good friends to help you out with writing, because writing at sometimes it just becomes drudgery. So you just need that support, you need that happiness, you need that encouragement, you need that force to get you on through. Your friends are there to help you bounce around ideas, to give both constructive criticism and destructive criticism sometimes.
Yes.
Sometimes knowing where to hack things where they need to be gotten rid of. And the great thing is that is that I think even though all of us are pursuing different sorts of careers, at least educationally speaking, the thing is that all of us have discovered this talent with writing, and I would definitely say that I don't think there's not a single one of us who can't see ourselves turning what we have into a publisher and making a name for ourselves.
Yeah.
So 30 seconds each, personal introductions and story introductions.
30 seconds?
30 seconds.
I'll go first.
Oh no, Brian.
My name's Jed Ward. I'm an environmental engineering major. I'm a big nerd. I like to play board games. My story's about Will Dunberger.
Not
to
Butt
be confused with Butt Dunberger. Essentially, I'm just exploring the wonders of high school and adolescence and puberty with the added bonus of superpowers involving the ability to control plants.
That's a lot longer than 30 seconds. Actually,
Yeah.
it wasn't bad. That wasn't... No, never mind. That was pretty close.
Go ahead, Nate. You're already 10 seconds in.
Oh!
So I am Nathan Campbell. I am a fine arts major, and I would like to pursue a career in storyboard art. And really, the stories that I write are mostly based off of, kind of realistic problems that we face, but kind of put into like a fantasy kind of a world.
Like a modern fantasy.
Yeah, like a modern fantasy in some cases. And all of my, most of my stories all happen within the same kind of universe. And really, I want people to be able to relate to the problems that my characters have, but I want also for it to be an enjoyable experience, a rather comedic, yet very dramatic kind of a story. So that's kind of me. On to the star of the show.
Oh no, Lars, go ahead.
Oh.
Me? So I'm Lars Jensen. I'm a history grad, and I am a total nerd. I discovered that when I was like 5 years old. And actually what I'm writing is a story that has been in the works since I was 5 years old. After I looked up at the mountain range that faces my house, and there's this formation that looks like a crazy hand, and also somewhat castle-like. And I was like, who would live there? And from that thought as a 5-year-old has blossomed the story of beings that run around in a separate universe of imagination, and that this universe crosses with ours. And so this is kind of walking down the path of epic fantasy right here. And that's basically what I'm doing.
Very nice. I'm Camille Karchner, and this is my harem.
Best believe it, girl.
Hey, girl. I am an advertising and public relations major and a French minor. And I am currently writing the first installment of a fantasy trilogy that will then have other branch-offs to it in the future. And again, like Lars stated earlier, it did start, it all happened because of a dream I had last year. I have super realistic, crazy dreams, and this happened. I had a dream about a girl and dragons, and it just kind of grew from there. So, yeah.
Good stuff.
And I'm a nerd too. I mean, you can
I'm a
obviously...
nerd.
We're all nerds here.
We're all
That's
nerds.
a well-established fact.
And if you are listening to this, you are an honorary nerd, if not a full nerd. And if you're not yet a full nerd, become one.
You are an honorary
You will be
harem
by the time you're
nerd.
done listening to this.
Yep. Well, is there anything else?
I would just... Before we end here, and if you've made it this far, congratulations.
I'm proud of you. Claps for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My piece of advice, and I guess the whole point of this first podcast would be to, if you have a story in your head and you want it down on paper, don't be afraid to find other people. Don't be afraid to write, and don't be afraid to get a support group, because it will be so much harder to do it by yourself. And just amazing things can happen when you get people behind you supporting you the whole way.
I can agree to that. When I first came up to this whole thing, I was kind of skeptical of the whole thing, because I mean, Camille has been my best friend since we were in diapers, but I didn't really know.
Not together, not in the same diaper.
No. And when I first came up, I was like, all these new people that I have to make friends with, or am I going to make friends with them? And we hit it off pretty well the first time, really.
What?
And it's interesting because it was kind of a rough spot in my life when this kind of popped up, and how much it's actually helped me, having good friends to rely on, and also having these stories to kind of keep my mind not necessarily off of the bad things, but to keep me having a positive outlook. And that's one of the reasons why I keep sticking around.
Most definitely of us all.
Yeah.
Yes.
3 hours of driving.
3 hours of driving every week just for this.
Session.
Yeah. For one session. Yeah.
Hashtag worth it.
Oh yeah.
Hashtag I love you guys.
Hashtag best buds.
You guys are crying.
Hashtag thanks for listening.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how to end this.
Over and out.
Over and out.
Bye, Mom.
Juicy. Fatty. Bye-bye.
That's a nice looking butt you got there, Bree.
Pause it.
Oh, can I live with you this summer, maybe?
What?
Well, why?
Why?
I missed it.